that ultimate able to shut him down. And now I wonder if you just go back to an early rise, or if you look to pick up jungle since the Viego is off the board. We highlighted the Hecarim, not something that Aki has really liked to gravitate towards all too much. And he's still saying, yo, I don't care. Maybe that was just a bit of a show to say, hey, Clid, we know what you want to play against us when we're saying FPX maybe want more engaged to be able to get on this backline.
I mean, Cold moving around with his Leona in the second game was pretty nice to see. So I'm glad that OMG sitting down in the bottom lane now. For FPX, there are changes, though. Apart from the Ahri, we're getting hung on the Tahm Kench, which has been massive. And the Tryndamere left open against Shanji. In game one, this was banned away, and Shanji has played this a couple of times before.
Yeah, Shanji now going to give them a lot of options in terms of being able to look for that split push, or just the amount of annoyance that Tryndamere can be on the back line.
Yeah.
He's able to find the flank, come into a team fight. If he doesn't go for Hull Breaker, if he goes for, you know, maybe the other build like Gale Force coming in, get on top of Lwx. So at least Lwx this time around, having the safety come out from Hung with that Tahm Kench. And my God, we are flying through bans. OMG taking away some of the counter picks they can face up in that top side for the Tryndamere, and FPX taking away some of Creme's answers out in mid. So the Rise off the board. Last time around, we saw the LeBlanc also taken away as well.
Yep.
It will be followed up. So now for OMG, do you go back to what you did in game one and bring out the Vex? Or again, do you pivot to more of a control mage? I feel like their comp definitely sets up for a lot more of a side laning pick coming through.
Yeah.
But there isn't really anything available that we've seen Creme comfortable playing. So
the Orianna.
It's just the Orianna.
Yeah, again, this has been something that, you know, he's often gone to. You talk about control mages to this guy as a bit of a secondary, and, you know, we go into a piece of comfort. Now, I want to leave OMG there because for FPX, the Jace banned away, we get top laners against the Tryndamere that are already taken off the board. But this is something we were talking about a couple of games ago, especially with the setup. xiaolaohu gets Camille, a big side laning pick here when they already have a roaming mid for themselves.
Yeah, I think it could be rough. I think Shanji can find quite a few opportunities to look for the all-in. Should be able to win out in terms of that.
Fair.
But this does set up, I think, for the comp a little bit holistically. When we be talking about like point-and-click lockdown onto the Ezreal, right? Hextech Ultimatum onto the backline. You have that set up there. FPX, I would expect them to take the Hecarim instead of the Volibear for the fact that I don't think you want to give that one over because they do have the ball setup coming out from the Orianna. The Fear can do a lot to dissuade the engage that would be coming out from xiaolaohu and Care, and now they have it. You have engage on the side of FPX. You still have a front to back. You have kind of double side lane setup that you can play through compared to the only one for OMG.
A lot of in, some out as well for FPX. So I'll be asking you questions about how deep this can dive. OMG, on the other side, Aki had a great Viego game. That's been banned away. The Xin Zhao still up and available, but it looks like he could try and tell Clid to do Lee better. But no, it's a Poppy instead when you have a lot of dashes here.
Hecarim, Camille, Ahri, you have so many things that you are able to shut down with this. And we're talking about, you know, kiting out, playing with your Ezreal, being able to take the front to backs, enabling Shanji to go for the split push. I feel like this rounds out their composition quite well. And for OMG, that's what it is, right? You see a lot of 1-4 coming through. It's all about the kite potential. It's all about keeping Abel safe in these team fights. And Creme kind of have to rely on himself to be able to set up his own shockwave. Like, sure, Cold can enable that himself, but then you're playing off of re-engages rather than playing around maybe when they're coming into you.
Yeah, on the other side, like you already pointed out what this Poppy does to a lot of the engage tools coming through. I'm excited to see because Shanji on the Tryndamere was focused in previous series. I think it was against RA that we looked at opening our set. And it's weird being in studio again. But finally, you know, with what FPX is doing, yeah, no, it's just always weird having a cable. As I point towards our audience, I was going to say something about FPX. Dude, Clid on Hecarim again. That's a deal. A big one, in fact. Because his game one on Hecarim was huge. And we know that xiaolaohu's going to demand attention here on this Camille. When you talk about how volatile the matchup is, when you have an Ahri mid who, with the Spirit Rush, likes to get moving early, maybe FPX trying to match what OMG's win condition has been in previous games.
I love to use the word volatile because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
You need to set this Camille up for success, in my opinion, because then once we hit the post-6 point, I mean, Tryndamere are going to have more opportunity to get the consistent trades, the consistent damage down in those all-ins. We've seen so many times how a lucky crit can just completely change a matchup for a Tryndamere and be able to take over as well. So for both teams, I think volatile topside's coming through. You won't be able to punish Hecarim in the jungle, which is something we hit on in game one that OMG could have looked for because you have a much more passive composition coming out from the side of OMG, right? Again, being able to kite out, I think there's a lot more scaling in it. I mean, Ezreal, Orianna, Poppy, not something you really imagine. Aggressing, looking for the duel in the enemy jungle. So OMG, I think, want to play this one a bit slower. FPX are the ones who want to put their foot on the gas a little bit.
Okay, let's see if xiaolaohu can get the attention he deserves. FPX backs against the wall. To make playoffs here in this split, they need to win this series, but again, it doesn't lock them in. It doesn't confirm anything. OMG will still have another opportunity through LNG, through RNG, but they need this at least to survive and potentially hold that final spot. OMG, if they win this game, they are locked in. No ifs, ands, or buts. They can lose to LNG and RNG, and it matters not. They'll have the game differential to get them through, and they'll have the head-to-head as well. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift. Everything on the line in this final game of the night in our makeup series, our makeup games. And Ahri has decided it's Poppy time. We have a phase rush Poppy as well. And we've seen Predator. I think we've seen a Grasp game. Not Grasp, what am I talking about? Aftershock. We now have a phase rush too.
Yeah, I think this is one of the more common ones, right? I mean, I feel like typically these are your two options of like going for Predator for more early game ganking options, or this just be able to stick on targets, kite around team fights a little bit better, and be able to do more and have more options. So we're gonna see this one come out for OMG. And another point I want to highlight for OMG is no matter the result of this, the fact that it's pushed to a 3-game series is going to be, I think, very taxing for them.
True.
Because they are playing 3 days in a row. So even if they win here today, they qualify for playoffs. They don't have to play tomorrow. What if that goes 3 games? They play the next day. And then, guess what? OMG are definitely going to be in the first round of playoffs.
Yeah, they are.
So they're going to be playing in the following 2 days in playoffs.
And it either gives them a hell of a piece of momentum or it takes your energy down to a solid 0.
I feel like it could be both. Like,
yeah.
like let's say you win here today, then maybe you pick up a win against RNG or LNG. It doesn't matter. You're still going to be exhausted from all the prep you've done, from all the games you're playing and stage games.
A best of 5. I know you got a perspective on this. Sounds like it would be so much more taxing.
Yeah, and I mean, just in terms of even match days in general, the amount of like mental focus and mental fortitude you're putting into with the stress of playoffs on the line, like you will be exhausted very quickly.
I mean, no offense, but if I was OMG for LNG and RNG, if you win this here, I'd be like, I'm probably just going to take a leisurely stroll in this next one so we can recharge.
And start like prepping for playoffs. Honestly, not a bad idea, right?
Yeah.
Not a bad idea, but obviously focused on this one here now. We've already hit on 4 OMG.
Ooh, nice.
It's going to be a bit more of a passive early game this time around than what we were able to see in the previous 2 games.
But not for FPX's side. Again, you talked about momentum here. Clid on this Hecarim. We're going to watch a little bit of the pathing. And today we haven't talked a lot about pathing because we have had a bloodthirsty day of League of Legends. Early blood through early lanes. And what I mean by that is solo lanes have been going for the 1v1s, jungle intervening. And this time around, as we start off in a relatively slow manner, just note that junglers are on the same side of Summoner's Rift. Clid is level 4, though. He's done the full, complete clear, and he's got topside scuttle to take away as well, and that means he's going to hover over the top side to keep it safe.
Yeah, and we know that Ahri can't look to contest him, right, having both soul lane pryos for the side of Clid. Clid, never going to look for the topside play. I think reading that Ahri's up here, knowing that nothing can come through, going to make his way down towards the bot side.
Okay, Cold looking for Lwx. The Trompers go down once again. Cold taking a bit unbeneficial trade. What's the opposite of unbeneficial?
A bad
trade. That's good English.
You can speak your Chinese?
I could. Full I don't know the word for trade. Ignite down. Hang on. Shanji wants to take the 1v1. The flash away from xiaolaohu. He's waiting for wall shot, but the spin's about to come back up. Shanji heals up. Ahri's here, and there's no enemy jungler available. It's xiaolaohu versus the world, and the world wins.
That is exactly what we hit on, right? Extended trades are gonna favor Shanji.
Yep.
Gonna be able to get out, especially the use of the lethal tempo coming through, get a lot of damage out coming from your passive. Then xiaolaohu, definitely preferring the short trades. Get in there with your grasp, proc that, get out, look to use your W to find some of this poke. Pixel team bot.
Yeah, Clid wants to make this reverse dive work. Hung not getting the knock up though. OMG dodge it away. Arcane chip, beautiful. Hung is tanking up. He's going to go down in the 2v2 now. Under turret, the stun comes through. Clid only just surviving. Abel drops, but FPX, that's a trade in OMG.
Yeah, I mean, for OMG, you're definitely not hurting about that one. The nice thing is, you still do deny minions from Abel. Wave even crashing in right now as well.
Oh, but here's Ahri.
Lwx didn't go down.
Oh, no. There's no summoners available for Clid. Zenith Blade holds him in place. Cold. A gorgeous play. He may sacrifice his life, but it could be worth it. He flashes away Lwx matches as he returns to Summoner's Rift. It's a 2-kill Jinx here. So at least FPX gets something, but OMG once again always here for a response.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's so massive that Lwx not only gets accelerated with these kills, like we hit on Abel being set behind in terms of losing out CS, it does look like Lwx's reset might come off late enough to where maybe Abel can look to deny something. I don't know, because Cole did also back away, so not too much pushing power on an early game Ezreal. Hung can start moving down as well, just in case he gets a bit of a push, which actually won't matter. Wave will be there. But point is, AD carry advantage for the side of FPX. Now Care also hitting the level 6 mark, so we'll be able to start impacting the map. There's another crucial difference in these drafts, playing up against an Orianna who doesn't have the mobility to move. And straight to the replay, no time to talk, as we do see the lockdown coming out from Cold, which enables them to find the kill onto Hung. But you know what? More action!
And Shanji doesn't have level 6, so this is nice timing. Charm comes through, that's a simple dive, and it goes to xiaolaohu. Lyric is going to bring up a point that he didn't have TP. He took the Ignite, so he's going to lose some minions, but xiaolaohu in a great place, and now turret plating for the taking.
Yeah, FPX now have gotten both of their side lanes ahead, right?
Yeah.
Able to make Lwx get those kills down at bot side. xiaolaohu finding some gold also has a bit of a CS advantage for himself. And like, okay, Care, you just lost a wave of CS. You're 10 CS down. But as long as Care's guaranteeing the Jinx and Camille getting ahead, right? Those are the big scalers on your team. You can kind of just play a role of, we've seen, you're building things like the Everfrost, play for Charm, play for Everfrost, and enable your 2 big carries.
And after this early game, I mean, I was kind of convinced that OMG were trading off, and then Ahri was in a great place, and top side was set up. But FPX, you mentioned that point about Lwx, and because of that, gold is in favor of FPX by about 500. And Lwx is in a great position. He's got a bounty on his head. He's 10 CS up with a massive wave starting to push out.
Look at the items he has already.
I mean, that's a Noon Quiver pickaxe this early on versus a Sheen tier. We know who's the difference in that lane. But even coming back to my further point, xiaolaohu versus Shanji, I mean, this Camille has a Sheen, has a bit of a CS lead as well, is doing quite nice. FPX set up to succeed in a game that looked like OMG were balancing it with their control.
And talking about that top lane matchup, right? Even though we've hit on that some of these trades, Shanji will win out, and that's why xiaolaohu's paying his respect. Is the die potentially going to come through?
X-Flash.
Is going to come through.
I love it. Taking on junglers. He's level 6 here. He's got the Keeper's Verdict, but will he need it? Shanji with his own ulti as well. Spin to win the Hex Tech. Flash away. No. It was a hook shot, wall shot. Sorry, guys. Bit of misjargon, but Shanji picks up the kill. Tryndamere here for OMG. Well and truly online too.
And we also saw the value come out from the Poppy, right? Pops to W. We see xiaolaohu not able to hook shot, wall shot off. They find the kill themselves. Now a nice bit of turret plating going to come down for the Tryndamere. But Clid is responding. He's playing around bot side. He's making his presence known, which zones Abel off the turret.
Which is great because this is what we saw in game number 1 where Clid was kind of everywhere on the map. Now, Ahri's had a really good early game here too, but Clid on this Hecarim has just been really clean. So nice to see that FPX this time around are looking at their trades more seriously and knowing what they're sacrificing for a win.
Yeah, I mean, they're cross-mapping, looking for these plays. Also nice by Shanji to find this in top side. But going back to what I was going to say about top, even though like Shanji can win out in these trades, you don't have a real way of like committing onto the Camille, right? Because you can always use hook shot, wall shot to be able to get away. Should be able to get out from this trade. So again, could just look for your W's to find the trades to come out. You know, maybe throw in an auto, try and get the grass procs down, and play this as a bit of a slower lane. Shanji, though, has found a bit of a 700 gold lead in that matchup, being counteracted on the bottom half of the map. So both teams putting resources into different sides. You're going to be enacting different game plans because now for OMG, it's about playing through Shanji, playing through that side lane, making him dominate xiaolaohu. For FPX, I think it's going to be a lot about grouping up and playing for your AD carry.
Yeah, let's pause first for OMG because Shanji's now here. Keeps Verdict missed out. Shanji spotted out as well. There's the Herald given out by Clid. Ahri flashes over the wall. They committed for that as Lwx also commits the Super Mega Death Rocket. Down it goes. FPX with an early objective. A nice little hit up here in the early game. Lyric, it's your turn with your brain to tell me something. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I want to let you know before I ask you. I'm feeling really good all of a sudden. I was feeling a little bit jet lagged, I have to admit. I had water, and I feel like I'm cured.
Okay, well, I'm going to have some water, and you're going to keep talking.
I think water cures jet lag, guys. If you're a medical profession, probably clarify this information with your practice first, but I do believe that water has cured my jet lag.
Hey, we have one of those at League of Legends.
Whoa, we do.
It's Medic.
His name is Medic.
Yeah.
I found out, did a show casting chamber, by the way, where, yeah, actually found out he is a fully qualified doctor, for real.
Yeah,
I didn't know
of course.
But it's a legend. A bit of a legend. And, yeah, if anything goes wrong, I mean, international events, can you imagine? You know, you're casting worlds. Maybe Lyric, next time you go to, anyway. And you're casting with Medic. Now, if you pain in your arm or whatever, he's there to save you. You're okay. You don't need insurance with Medic there.
Well, LWX did need to use his cleanse, so I don't know if there's a bit of a cleanse.
Insurance down. Insurance down. The premium. He paid the excess right up front. So
I was going to say, I feel like it depends on where you're from. In my country, that kind of hits home with me.
Oh, does it?
And the rest of the world, I don't know if so much.
Shanji going for the dive. Ignite down. Shanji flashing. Managing it here, but under turret. Hextech ultimatum. Buys time with one more. No. That's a long bit of unyielding force.
Yeah, able to find the all-in. xiaolaohu not able to get away. Shanji just running him down, putting himself a bit too far forward. You committed everything from xiaolaohu. The flash down, the ignite down, and Shanji now going to be able to hit more on this top lane turret, get some more plates.
And guess who's here? Clid's here with ulti available, but not going to commit. Instead, stands in front with the Herald going down. I mean, Shanji, just coming back to that quick point, a beautiful play to see considering that OMG's condition continues to skyrocket ahead, but mid at least trading off some gold for the play.
Yeah, I do want to hit back on that top lane point real quick just to talk about the fact that we have not seen a dragon taken. And right, one of the big counters to why we haven't seen like side lane and pure split push strategies work out is because typically if a team starts stacking dragons very early on, they could pull you out from side lane and force you into these 5v5s.
Yeah.
So I think Shanji feeling pretty good that the first dragon of the game only going to be taken in 11 minutes. So you can keep looking to accelerate on the top side of the map. You should expect OMG to look for things like the second Rift Herald, play out through this Tryndamere, and get a large enough gold advantage to where then you could start taking those team fights and come out ahead.
I mean, again, like as we look at the replay here, Lyric, it was just knowing his limit and Shanji holding it off to a nice T against the 1v1 in xiaolaohu.
Yeah, I mean, you know, gets the spin coming off. I mean, hitting some nice crits in here as well, as we've seen a few times. Yep. 200 damage coming off. And like you said, kind of surprising amount of time on the ultimate to be able to come through, is able to then get away, and he is feeling completely fine. So look at OMG now, pivoting up towards his top side because they know that's where their carry is. They're going to have able answer down in bot because that is where FPX picked up the first third of the game.
And we kind of know that, you know, the Ezreal just coast through as well, right? You talk about the safety element, giving Cold ability to roam here. OMG have that. Cold's actually up in this group in the top side. And as FPX pivot their bottom lane up here as well, they're not going for the first turret blood. They're not going, for the first turret in response.
I love this.
Just waiting and being patient.
Yeah, because think about it, right? They'll get the turret regardless. If they wait here, let FPX go up.
It's a false sensitivity. Lwx not by himself, though. Hung's down to turret. Ahri, wait! What? Phase rush not going to work out. Cold has to flash away from Hung. And that was a great play turning into a devastating one.
That was a really cool idea with really horrible execution.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why they commit so early, right? Like wait to see if he walks up. If he doesn't, guess what? You really lost nothing on the map. You've committed nothing for this, but they don't. They overforce for the play, give over a kill to Lwx, who already is a Kraken Slayer, already has the zeal.
You don't want that.
He's becoming huge.
I mean, that's horrible in the sense that that's going to be a second item now. Give it over. Yeah,
it's horrible in the sense that it's horrible.
Obviously horrible. So it is a Shanji versus Lwx game, and I'm rooting for the Jinx because I know what League of Legends is about, and that's the OP AD carry.
Yeah, I do want to say I like for Shanji going towards the Gale Force rather than the Hullbreaker. You don't need that one to win out in the 1v1 we've seen, right? He's already ahead. He's already winning out in side lanes. Now just giving him more force.
His horse. Okay, Cold. He doesn't have his flash available, but Creme might be able to help out with the shockwave, but it's too late. Given over to Lwx again. FPX know where their money's going.
And I'm happy to see the Jinx come out ahead this time around as compared to last game.
True.
Because we went into Game 2 draft saying, like, wow, it's really surprising a team has the confidence to pick an Ezreal against a Jinx. Like, it feels like it should do so much more. The frontline potential, like taking that one down, just shredding that, the scaling coming through. This time around, they were able to find it with a little bit of help coming out from Clid, and Lwx has been able to run home with that. If you haven't watched all season long, Lwx really has been set up to be the main carry for FPX. They typically funnel everything down towards that bot side, do not give xiaolaohu a whole lot of help, and that is when they win games.
I mean, it's Lwx and Hung, the focus lane here for FPX. OMG, their game plan, if you haven't been watching their whole split, it's all about enabling Shanji, or at least, you know, recently we've seen Ahri play towards the top side. This game especially, we saw as he picked up turret plating there on the bottom side, feeling safe with his Gale Force, with his Undying Rage available as well. OMG, their top laner versus FPX's bottom laner, and it might be a 3k gold lead, but still we're going to see how these side lanes play out, as Cold might be caught out here deep as well. Hung comes in with the Tongue Lash after the Abyssal Voyage, and Clid here to help out. Care picks up the kill, and that's the third time he's died. Yeah,
that's, you know, we've been saying, like, 80 carry versus top lane, 80 carry versus top lane. But look at items. We have 4 mythics coming out for the side of FPX.
True,
so
big.
Incredibly strong coming out for mid-jungle as well. To where OMG pretty much...
Shot.
Oh.
Hey, locking down Abel. You talked about this in draft. xiaolaohu gets knocked away with the Keeper's Verdict, and FPX continue to force it as Care wants to come on in. Can he get the ulti in time? No. It's in the brush. It's a TP away. And it looks like, for now, Creme will just survive.
I do gotta say, again, like, even if OMG are not coming out ahead so far, like, they're actually 4K gold behind.
Yep.
It's nice to see conceptually how they want the Poppy to work, right? Because even ignoring just, like, stopping the dashes forward, even if xiaolaohu locks down Abel, having the ultimate to force him out of the fight and give Abel that space. Again, sadly, Abel not incredibly strong right now. Lwx a whole item ahead of him, doing so much more. And now Clid able to pick up this Herald on the top side. So OMG looking to cross map, looking to enable Shanji, try and find a pick onto the Camille.
Yeah, xiaolaohu's going to walk into dead space right here, pressing the W again. They keep his verdict not available. The heroic charge into the wall, the flash away from Soulflare. Now he can get through. That hook shot was very precarious on the wall, but I like that xiaolaohu got away. The flash burn. The Herald there, but unfortunately Clid back, so no response.
Yeah, I feel like OMG could have played that one a little bit better in terms of like having someone preemptively walk forward, because you know he's going to look to hook shot, wall shot away towards his turret, right? There's no other direction to go. Try and cut him off from that. They don't go for it. Everyone's staying on the right side. And I don't think Creme would have any threat considering Cold was there as well. Shanji very nearby.
Yep.
It's not, a massive flop. You still got the flash out from him. You get a bot lane turret. You bring the gold lead a little bit closer, but still massive for the side of FPX. As we're going to get a replay here of how it all happened. Skirting around from River, no vision.
That's unfortunate. It looks so concrete, and again, like we kind of talked about this. OMG, this game, the plays have been good. The thought process has been good, but a couple of botched plays here and there. Top side was really botched. That one there, we could have seen how it could have been a kill or an extra piece of lockdown with Cold involved.
Yeah, maybe, right?
Oh,
so
Cold's dead. Woo. Actually, yeah, speaking of the man, now he drops, and FPX, they just picked up the dragon, they moved up for a pick, and Clid gets the kill. There's the charm. Abel has to disappear into the mid lane, and Lwx has to push here. Look at this. They've got a Herald as well. It's going to be a massive shove.
Yeah, I mean, they can just keep going, right? Clid is ult.
Oh, the Herald. Shelly has gone for Holiday. Into the outback, but as she comes back, Uluru is on her list.
Oh, Shanji coming for the flank.
Yeah, but what can he do? He's got a Gale Force, but at the very least, everyone there protecting the President, Lwx. Care comes in as well, and Herald just drops down. At the very least, to keep his verdict, stops the Herald from opening up inner turret.
Yeah, once again, finding use for this Poppy pick. Even if proactively you're not able to do anything, it is a pick that is more reactive in answering the enemy's plays. Problem is, you don't really have a great way of answering Lwx at this point in the game. Because, heck, we've been talking about, for their comp, right, they pick this poke, this kite back. They don't really have tons of lockdown outside of Cold for themselves. Like, what do you do? Especially Lwx so accelerated, already having the rapid fire cannon, you're not going to be kiting him out.
Yep.
He's outranging you, he's out damaging you, he's killing your front line way faster. And now for OMG, I mean, you can't even really rely on Shanji. FPX sitting on 2 Drakes, 3 minutes 40 seconds. They'll be on soul point.
True.
And yeah, it feels really rough. Like even thinking about plays that they could make, I feel like it's all up to FPX. It's all up to FPX making mistakes. There isn't even really like cheese plays you can set up on sides to look for. Poppy not bringing any lockdown to try and set up a Tryndamere in the side lane unless a member of FPX makes a mistake, maybe goes too close to a wall, like things along those lines.
It's small margins again that FPX like have so much more to play with, and OMG are kind of running dry. And again, coming into this series, if you guys didn't know why we're playing the makeup games, again, OMG had to quarantine for 2 weeks, so that's why they've got to play back-to-back-to-back over the next couple of days. For OMG, if they lose this series, it's not the end of the road. They still have to beat LNG and RNG, but think about what I'm saying. Beating LNG. Okay, maybe doable with LNG being back and forth. Beating RNG, that's a top 14. And that's really difficult as an ask. So I feel like right now, OMG, this was a must-win so that they could sit back, relax, and know that the next couple of series won't matter too much for them. For FPX here, they need this series win no matter what. And I'll say this confidently. If FPX win this series, I think they can be pretty confident that they are going to playoffs with like an 85, maybe 90% chance.
I mean, right. If you don't believe V5 is the best team in the league, I feel like the only team that's really competing for that title right now is RNG. Like, you go off of how teams have looked in recent form.
Cleanish.
Yeah. RNG are weird, because RNG dropped to WE, and then they pretty much smack everyone else. So we'll see RNG, I think, look insane right now, so it will be quite hard for OMG. That game specifically is not tomorrow. It is the following day after that.
Last one, yep.
Like you said, kind of scaling up with difficulty, right? You start with FPX, you move on to LNG, and then you face the final boss in RNG. But FPX now, be moving up towards his top side, not having to worry about about OMG's schedule just yet. They're just worried about shutting them out from this game, as they do still have a 3K gold lead. And all of the eggs on the opposing side are in the Shanji basket. FPX know they have no one who can match. They're instead just trying to set up group, look for picks as a 5-man unit, and find ways, I think, to force a Baron play coming out. Or Shanji will just do this.
He will, but Care has a small minion wave to work with. The Charm lands under turret as well. Everfrost too. Shanji just getting dissuaded for now. Half HP on the inner turret on the bottom side. xiaolaohu was moving down as well, but look at what FPX are doing. Same thing in the top side. Lwx is an Infinity Edge now, by the way. That's a 3-item Jinx, and OMG starting to feel it.
Yeah, and I mean, they can just keep this going, right? They even have push in mid, so they can start to rotate to where the wave that Camille's pushing in is. You see Shanji having the back, so probably going to look to group up now and maybe dissuade the push coming out from FPX.
Be careful, Cold, as he walks in. Remember, this is the 1-4 Leona here. A lot of damage still coming through as the zap lands. They're sticking around for the inner turret, but Shanji's now joined in.
Aki looking for a bit of a play.
Flash, Soul Flare. Hung flashes away as well. Lwx got hit by the True Shot Barrage. He's at half HP. But OMG can't close that gap. xiaolaohu spotted out, coming in as well.
And there it is, right? We talked about OMG don't have a real way of forcing something themselves. I mean, you have Leona ultimate or you have Cold, maybe somehow to find... Like, I don't want to say a flank, because I don't know why he'd be flanking in a team, but you know what I mean? He has to somehow, like, hope that FPX just allow him to stroll in, get the Zenith Blade, and everything goes according to plan. If that misses, FPX peel off, they back out, dragging up in 20 seconds, and this should be a pretty guaranteed soul point for FPX.
Like, look for an example. How many times has Creme ulted this game? One. We've seen one Orianna Shockwave because there just hasn't been an opportunity where FPX are laying in their lap. It's a testament to how well FPX have played this third game. 3,000 gold lead still maintained, but how well they're playing these fights. Now, right now, they're going into melee range as Clid walks in, but I want to see that Shockwave come through. I want to see OMG get the perfect fight that just hasn't been given to them.
No, they got to be careful, though. xiaolaohu on the backside.
Great flank opportunity. Everfrost comes through, and Care there as well. xiaolaohu, the Hextech ultimatum, lies down as the ulti, the charge, the Shockwave finally comes through, but it does nothing. Creme drops, and Shanji didn't get to ult. The Tryndamere, the most fed member, didn't press the R button.
And this is going to just open up a Baron opportunity to come out for the side of FPX. Another free objective. Some resets coming out, but no, they are fine. Care has the teleport available, and there it is.
FPX, 5K, now moving in front of the Baron. Ahri's going to be coming here shortly, but if this Baron goes down, I mean, OMG feel like kissing their chances goodbye of sealing playoffs here today.
Yeah, they're going to try and come in. Abel, having some poke available, but it looks like it doesn't matter. Not having the damage there.
It's Care. Ahri over the wall. Can he get the steal? He's there! Whoa! Oh, he does! Ahri! Not going to give FPX the designated win. Nope. And the game goes on.
The game goes on. I mean, you have Barons across the board. Still goes down. I don't feel like it changes the dynamic of the game too much.
Doesn't.
But still super cool to see him come in. Flash gets the Baron, and it will at least buy them time. It will give them pressure in lanes in terms of being able to push out minion waves. If FPX group up, FPX still should have kill pressure, which will force them back. But to go back into the replay here, xiaolaohu coming in off the flank, decides to go into Care instead of focusing Abel, instantly following through. Like you said, ult not able to come out from the Tryndamere, got locked down. I didn't see by what. I don't know if it was the charm or...
Everfrost was one of them.
Yeah, Everfrost be the thing to start off. And then here, the Baron coming through from OMG. Ahri coming in with the movement speed, flashes over the wall. And where's the smite from Clid? Actually just doesn't come through. Ahri smiting on the perfect number, and he's able to do it. So again, buys them more time. Doesn't necessarily give them a lead into the game, but we've hit on in terms of their scaling being incredibly good, right? Orianna, Ezreal, the Poppy there to peel. A Tryndamere are going to just become more of an annoyance. That could be good because for OMG, if they can get to a point where they win contest over mid-wave and they get on objective first, does it matter if you don't have engage? It forces FPX to come into you.
That's true. OMG, again, will wait for that time. It'll be brought up now thanks to the Baron. But remember, again, three minutes is when that bigger timer comes through. Baron will have expired by then as well. So OMG will have to fight there for the Mountain Souls. The flank's coming through. Care has TP'd in. He's on a ward now. The rest of OMG here is to keep his verdict over the wall. Charm through, and unfortunately that misses. Shanji now spotted out. He's coming off his own little flank. FPX forced that, and teleport was burned by mid lane.
Yeah, now for the side of FPX. They're still going to keep looking for it. They're fishing for this fight now. They don't want this to go later where Creme and Abel do become a massive force. Still 2 minutes from Dragon, so not too much to take in terms of pivoting this push into even camps, right? You look at the minimap, no camps available on OMG's top side jungle. OMG, of course, had control and pivoted down towards bot, so not able to answer there. So Recall's just going to come out, and I feel like critically, you're buying more time for Abel to get some items under his belt. As you've already highlighted, Lwx, so heavily accelerated.
Yeah, I mean, again, he has been this whole game. Vampiric Scepter picked up. Not often that we see, you know, a lifesteal item coming in on Jinx, right? So
I think respecting, right, the Qs that can come out from Abel, whittling it down. Even Creme, the damage that's able to come out from him.
xiaolaohu. Okay, does he really want the 1v1? I guess he's trying to buy the space. Shanji's ignited down, the ulti coming through as well. Clid helping out, running him over. Golden for the time being. Shanji going to get feared, though, into the side lane. He almost gets xiaolaohu, but no crit today. So third death here for the top laner. And FPX picking him apart. Now that's going to build some a bit more momentum as we go for the fight here. And Lwx eaten up, saved by Hung. Nicely done, Clid. Use the ulti in the trade, though. And Cold's going to be blocked. No ulti hitting out as Abel's going to send the True Shot Barrage. Care defending the midway, but remember, Baron there. For the next second, it expires, but still the damage has been done.
I got to say, it's pretty sad for FPX. They're not able to transition that pick into maybe a team fight with numbers advantage to be able to win out this game. Ooh. Not going to be able to get anything off of that. So Shanji, I think a little bit lucky. You're going to come up, and it's like, okay, you gave gold over the opposite side. Pressure was relieved from FPX, but not able to get a whole ton themselves for it, as we see here. Looks like Cold Hex flashing over, throws out the ultimate, which kind of zones him forward, which opens up the Zenith Blade to be able to force that. But Hung, the ultimate bro, to come and save him.
I mean, it's good comms. Lwx had Flash and Cleanse available, burnt nothing. Sidestep out of the center of the Solar Flare. And again, we talked a lot about, in the first series, we talked a lot about PP God and Photic. I feel like Lwx and Hung, the reason that FPX have been great, especially at the start of the split, has been this new duo. Hung called Giga Chad by many people for a good reason, and I think Lwx right there with him.
And I gotta say, no matter their faults in terms of like giving over advantages, one thing I gotta say about them, most, like 90% of the time, they are on the same page. Like, they are on the same wavelength of wanting to look for these aggressions.
Shanji, he's found a horse. Now, I know in certain countries they eat horse meat, but I'm not a biggest fan. I haven't tried it. Irrelevant to the point. Lyric, we have Dragon in 15 seconds, so take me back.
Yeah, kind of looking across the board, it feels like we have summoners up across both sides. We're going to be looking at Creme to finally find a huge shockwave, but xiaolaohu coming off the flank.
Yeah, and he's not spotted on wards for now. Shanji with the control ward down. I believe they just tickle him over as FPX still in the river. Wait for Clid's ultimate.
Finally spotted.
They've been pretty good, and yeah. That control ward needs to be cleared, but I think xiaolaohu walking up a little bit scared of Cold. And Dragon sitting there waiting. Shanji over the wall aggressively. Able at the back of the pit too.
I also want to point out the side waves are both pushing in for the side of FPX. That's why FPX feel comfortable just waiting this one out, because OMG are the ones losing gold, losing experience, losing position on the map.
And Care wants to flank as well, but he's spotted out in the ward. So as the waves continue to push in, there's Flash Tahm on Sword of Shadows here for FPX. Now onto Ahri. He pulls out to keep his verdict, but looking at the back line. xiaolaohu brings them all together. Spinning to win as the Mountain Soul is secured. Now it's a front to back. Shanji trying to get on in, but he's dissuaded, sent back. And the Phoenix rises when it matters most.
I love that coming out from Care, being the aggressor, but xiaolaohu, my God, he just eated right past the Tryndamere, said, screw you, I'm out, goes right onto the back line, finds the lockdown, and that is Soul now locked up for FPX. Man, that was some great team fighting coming out from them. Clear advantage in their favor now. They're going to be able to back. They should be hitting item power spikes, maybe Death Cap. Pretty soon should be able to come out for Care even more damage. We're going to go into the replay. Look at Care starts this fight off on the right side of the fight. Lands the charm, but look at xiaolaohu on the opposite side in a second, because they find one kill. just dodges Shanji. Gets straight onto Abel with the Hextech ultimatum. And this pretty much leads to FPX being able to open up the fight. Is everyone quickly has to pivot to, like you said before, protecting the president. Run back, make sure Abel can't die. It splits up their position and allows for FPX to have such a smooth fight.
And again, is looking good. There was the Baron still before that delayed the game a bit for OMG. And again, we talked about the scaling. We talked about OMG wanting to buy time in this game. But we come back to a fight that has enabled the Mountain Soul. There's an Elder in 5 minutes that has to be fought over for OMG. And Lyric, now it's about how much they can do here with the advantage they have with the lead. FPX still trying to spend this tempo wisely, especially with the GA on Lwx. We've also got a Rabadon so close for Care. They're threatening, they're sieging, and the damage is massive, and OMG paying respect, thankfully, but Creme a bit too deep, not going to get feared away. Shockwave held on for, but the flash burnt.
Yeah, and for FPX, I mean, it's going to be very hard to find a way to force in, I think, without Baron.
They're sticking around.
They're really trying to find a fight themselves.
Oh, and OMG is split away. Okay, now we need to see if the Shockwave comes in, but he's nowhere nearby. Instead, Clid takes up the damage. Ahri going to be Spirit Rushed on as well. This Ahri runs forward, gets a reset, gets out. It's all I care about, and I'm talking about the FPX's mid laner.
yeah, Care finds the pick that they need. They can pivot onto the Baron, start getting this one going. Then it will be so much easier for them to force their way into the enemy base. They could, not only have the pushing of the minions, but just the strength of that, they can now start threatening dives coming out with Clid, with Hung. Of course, there's a Poppy on the opposite side, but even just being able to zone them off turret so you can hit that, break open the base through inhibitors, really will be a great way for FPX to be able to end out this game.
Yeah, it feels like that's the direction it's going, right? This time not going to be stolen away. Replay Central. This was the pick after the fight up in the top side almost brewed up.
Clid going in, just gets caught out by Aki, was trying to zone around, see if he can find an angle in, I think, around the top side. Right, Care gets in here with the Everfrost, lands a Charm as well to follow it up, and the Spear Rush to be able to follow this one through, and getting the reset to be able to get away.
I mean, Care in this game has just been huge. 4-0 and 5. The Rabadon's finally picked up. He has a stopwatch too. Care is level 16 with Flash available. And in the side lane, FPX now grouping up around him, trying to push in this last inner turret towards the bottom side. And look at where xiaolaohu is as well, pushing towards mid. He's getting pretty busy while Shanji is trying to play the split pushing game. But FPX, that Baron, they're always going to win out.
Yeah, FPX is going to have to be more aggressive with this. And, I mean, that ultimate from Aki did nothing. It didn't stop the push, didn't stop the minions. This actually might just make it easier for FPX to look for the end, because now, even if they want to go for a dive or force a fight, my god, that damage from Creme is huge.
Care. There's a Clid ulti as well onto Creme. He's done nothing this game and will continue to do that in the fountain. It's now a numbers advantage as Shanji has to back away. Nexus Tower getting threatened here. OMG wanted to skill playoffs today, but FPX just won't let them. This game a masterclass as Aki gets Lwx, but he cleanses away. Shanji now in the heat of it, but the Phoenix rises from the ashes burnt down by OMG. It feels like with this, they should eventually secure their playoff berth.
I see exactly what you mean with that call. FPX, great game. Again, it's so disappointing that we can't say that they're locked in, because OMG could still overtake them. But that game, I think FPX have cemented it. They should feel confident. I mean, the fact that they're able to overcome, the fact that Care showing a great game, Clid in game one having, a phenomenal carry performance in their bot lane. It would feel really sad to not see FPX make it through, but they should be feeling great about this win. They should be feeling comfortable, over the next few days, getting the reset available. And, again, hopefully... These makeup games, guys. These makeup games.
I don't know. Look, I am glad, though, because if OMG won today, we'd have to go and we'd have to watch OMG versus LNG, OMG versus RNG, and fans would be like, well, does it matter? They're in the first round.
Oh.
And the answer is now, yes, it does matter. It does matter. OMG have to beat LNG and RNG to make the miracle playoff run. So there is a lot of cause to watching OMG tomorrow and even the day after. RNG also can secure, I believe, up to third for their game tomorrow too. So it's a big deal for RNG. But I'm glad we're kind of at this point where FPX had to really work for this series. Game number 2, it was just a different looking FPX. But Clid, again, on the Hecarim is just such a good comfort. A must ban.
Oh, it was huge, right? The amount of... Early game, he covered everyone. He found kills up in top side, he found kills down in bottom side, and he started moving with Care towards these side lanes to look for more plays. It was so pivotal to their win. FPX, once again, they might be one-dimensional, might be, a bit of a one-hit wonder in terms of their play style, but it works. It works enabling Lwx and Hung down on the bottom side. The aggression is going to come out. One thing that's great about Lwx, whether, it could lead to as a detriment or a plus, is he's always willing to walk forward to look to put the damage out, which could just, be the difference in winning a team fight that's on the knife's edge. And Care, someone who's clearly worked out on this roster a lot better than Gory did. Again, not necessarily like a phenomenal laner is going to come out and stomp you, but he works really well with the team, doesn't really fall too far behind, and looks for these angles. He's a player that reminds me of how we talked about Angel early in the split, where maybe statistically you're not insane or you're not dominating anyone in the lane, but you find these highlight moments that win you games.
Yeah, highlight moments in team fights. Again, talking about his team fighting, I think it was the most exceptional part. As well, we'll say xiaolaohu on the Camille, who was bullied all game long, where OMG put their resources up in that top side. He didn't get to play a Camille game up against Shanji, but the team fights came through.
I loved it. I loved the instance where Shanji comes in on him. He's like, screw you, brother, I'm out of here. He's right over the wall, finds the ultimate onto Abel.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what happens. xiaolaohu might ghost your calls, but he gets the job done.
I mean, that's what it's all about. xiaolaohu having a pretty good series, I'd say, especially game 1 and this third game. xiaolaohu has been a bit of a highlight, and that's what FPX come down to. These individual highlights, and when it comes together, it all looks brilliant. Lwx with the most damage, no surprise. But I think the thing that we saw kind of hidden in this game was that FPX were always kind of ramping up.
Yeah.
It looks like a nice little